channel. So today, no more studio lights, no makeup, no nothing. You're getting a really raw and real Coco for today because I've just had such a freaking bad week. So much heartbreak, so much disappointment. And because of that, I haven't been creating as much, which you guys have probably seen because I was uploading a lot. And then this week, it just kind of, I just didn't. But I'm really glad I was able to pull myself out of feeling sucky. It also had a good cry with some good friends, and I feel a lot better now. So yes, I feel because of all this that happened, I'm just more attracted to being like natural and stuff right now. And also it's summery weather, so that helps as well. So anyway, today I want to talk about how to date in 2019. How to date as a millennial in this like weird effed up world that we live in. And am I the best person to take advice on this topic? Probably freaking not, because last week I got my heart broken a bunch again. It's not like my heart broken, it's really the wrong word that I'm using, but I'll get into the whole story in a second. And I just felt like I wanted to have like a discussion, a nice long chat about this, about all the struggles of dating in 2019 and how I feel like I'm going to try and battle or how I kind of stay strong within it, because I get so many questions from you guys on Cameo about it as well. So yeah, okay, so what happens, or what has been happening to me is, so there's two things that happen. So first of all, so I lived in a small town in the Netherlands, and here everybody knows each other. It's like a small community, there's not a lot of people. And what I experienced with that, and before like social media was like a huge thing, is that I actually had two relationships because people took each other a lot more serious. There weren't that many people, there wasn't many options, and so you just kind of, whenever you found someone that was compatible, you were like, whoa, there's not a lot of people that fit my type, and here's my type, and I want to be with you. Great, taking each other seriously, and then working on it, building something, and having a relationship. So then two things happened. I moved to Amsterdam, which is a big city with a lot of, I guess it's not LA in any other sense than, as in it doesn't look like LA, the community is not the same as LA, it's not the same vibe as LA, probably, I've never been to LA, but like it's the same as LA as in when it comes to, there's just pretty people. There's so many pretty people everywhere, and so many successful people too. And I think it's probably like that for a lot of like, you know, big cities, like glamorous cities where there's like, everything's expensive and expensive houses, and there's just so many amazing, beautiful, successful people. And so that in combination with social media and the fact that there's just so much freaking choice, it's so hard, you guys, to date nowadays. Because if you don't live in Amsterdam, but if you live in a big city like Amsterdam, the thing is, like, if you date someone, there's always going to be someone around the corner that's prettier than them, funnier than them, better, you know, better than them. So how do you ever hold on to a person that you're having a good time with, because you're like, but what if there's better out there? And there probably is better out there, you know? How do you ever commit to someone when you feel that way? And then at the same time, you have social media where it's the same. You have so many people just under your thumb. There's always someone prettier on Instagram. There's always another swipe for someone else and someone new, and there's just so much freaking choice. So how do you ever feel like, you know, you take someone seriously, or you build a relationship with them? And it's just like a struggle. It's like an internal struggle for me as well, because I'm like, I'm not sure how I feel about it. I'm not sure if I think it's a bad thing or if it's a good thing. Some days I have days where I'm like, I think I'm so glad I have so much choice, because I'm afraid that if I didn't, and like in that like little town that I live situation kind of a thing, I would have settled for someone that wasn't perfect for me, because I didn't feel like I could get better, or there wasn't anything else. But then also sometimes I feel like there's never good enough. And also what happens, that a lot of us don't feel this way ourselves towards others. A lot of us fall in love easily. We see people and we're always like, oh yes, finally someone, you're the one. And they end up not taking you seriously, or not wanting to date you seriously, or feeling like they're not ready to commit, even though you might not even be ready to commit. But it just happens so much to you as well that other people are not ready to commit to you too. So then you start to feel like you're not enough as a person. I think that's the whole core, the core of it, is that you end up feeling so disheartened after a while. You end up doubting yourself so much and thinking to yourself, what's wrong with me? Why doesn't anyone want to get serious with me? Even though you might not even, for me personally, like I'm not at a point in my life right now where I feel like I need to get serious with someone. Like not at all. Like I am so happy on my own. I love my single lifestyle. I love the fact that I can do anything I want and there's no one that is gonna get upset or angry or wants to know what I'm doing. I just can be super spontaneous with all my actions, and I really like having no responsibilities when it comes to that. But also at the same time, because other people are like that too, I sometimes feel so degraded, so undervalued, and so hurt because no one takes you seriously as well. So it's like a two-way thing, you know, it's a two-way street. It happens both ways, but it does end up with you feeling bad about yourself. Like you just have bad self-image. I don't know if I'm the only one who feels like this. Please tell me, do you relate to this? Because I feel this so much. It hurts so much. And yesterday I just kind of got to a point where it just was like breaking point. Like you keep yourself strong for so long. You go through all these terrible dating experiences, and it's not only from them, it's also from you, because you're not ready to commit. You don't know. There's so much out there. You have bad self-image, you have Instagram, and you think you can get better. So like it's both ways. But anyway, both parties end up feeling like shit probably a lot of the time. Oh, and it's just so freaking complicated because you're like, you want to be taken seriously, you want a relationship, you want someone to love you, but at the same time you want freedom and to do whatever the F you want. You want to go everywhere you want. And if you have a relationship, after 3 months you're like bored of it and you're like, but I'm on Instagram and I found someone hotter and now I can't do anything anymore, even though nothing would have probably happened with that person, but you can't anymore. So that makes you feel trapped. And it's just this like weird contradiction that goes on the whole time. And it's just the most annoying thing. So how I feel like you should date in 2019, or things that have just helped me, is first of all, I've deleted dating apps. I'm not on dating apps. I think the dating app thing was so toxic at some point. Because I was always on there like with the intention of, well, how big is the chance that I will meet the person that's a match for me in real life? Very small. There's so many people on like dating apps, so there's a bigger chance that I will meet someone on there. So that's how I went on there. And then you just end up being played so many times and you just have so many boring conversations. And also I feel like talking to like 10 people at the time on an app like that, like having 10 matches or something, just so weird as well. It's like so strange too. It just, how do you choose? Like how do you take anyone seriously if you're talking to so many people? And also it just made me feel bad. I just got a weird feeling from it, because every time I would swipe someone and I didn't have an instant match, I would feel disappointed, like, oh, they didn't like me. And every time I did have a match, it was like, yes, like an instant gratification thing. And then I never took them seriously after that anymore. So like it meant nothing at all. I think that's so toxic. So I've deleted my dating apps, and I've really felt like I just want real life connections with real people, and that's how I want to meet people and date people. I'm not saying that's how I want to meet my soulmate or like, you know, get serious with someone. I don't have that intention. I think that's also a good thing, is to not have any intention or expectation. I just want to, in my life, make meaningful connections with people. And if that ever gets to something else, then that would be beautiful and great. But that's not my first intention when it comes to meeting people, and especially not meeting guys or like, you know, whatever gender or whatever you're attracted to. I think that should not be your first intention. You should always have the first intention to just have meaningful connections with people, and if that like ends up with something romantic, then that's great, but that should not be first priority. I've stopped looking at if people are looking at me at places. Like I used to, when I was like at an event or whatever, I used to be like, you know, I would notice if people would like be looking over, or I would like be occupied with that. Like it's not like I was like actively like you know, looking or whatever. It was just like, it would like be a part of my thought process, like, oh, this guy's checking me out, or I would be checking out people. I would like look around, browse for people that I found attractive. And I just ended up I just stopped doing that. Like I had to tell myself to stop doing that, because it never made me feel any better or worse. It just like, I would just feel disappointed when, like, for example, I would like see someone I found attractive, and then, you know, 20 minutes later, a girlfriend walks in and you're like, ouch, like that's sad. And then, you know, you would feel bad about that for a while, or you would like compare yourself to that girl or something, and like, it just doesn't make you feel good. Like I just now, I go places to have fun, and I try just to I try to be oblivious and not be occupied with it as much, and it just helps so much. So basically, I think it comes down to the fact that I just kind of distance myself. I'm sorry for touching my hair all the time. I just showered, and it feels kind of weird. It feels like there's like still like some of my volume moves in it. It's weird. I've tried just to not be so 24/7 on it. Like, even though it's not like I was like, once again, I feel like I'm coming across wrong. It's not like I was looking for a relationship, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean by being 24/7 about it, being like always occupied and thinking about it, about getting attention, whatever. I just want to have real meaningful connections with a few people in my life, and I just want a chance interaction with someone that just grows into something bigger and have no expectations from the beginning. So I expect literally nothing from anyone anymore, and I think that way also you get less nervous, because if you meet someone with the intention of, oh my god, I hope that he likes me or whatever, I hope, you know, then you get nervous and you start acting weird and you kind of sabotage the whole thing, even though if you were relaxed about it, if you didn't have any intention, you just wanted to get to know someone just as fun, you would show your personality a lot more, and it would just go much better. So yeah, okay, I think that's everything I have to ramble about this opinion, about this topic. I mean, I would love to know your guys' opinion about this in the description or in the comment section. I would love to hear you guys' stories. Yeah, it's hard, you guys. And I feel like sometimes we can think that a while back, like before social media, dating was easier, but like maybe it wasn't. Maybe it wasn't better to not have as much choice and to settle because you had to settle. And I think also for women a lot of the time, and this is not like an attack on guys, like it's not, if you're a guy and you're watching this, it's not like an attack on you, but I feel like for women, a lot of women settled for guys because they were like, oh, I'm 20, I need to settle right now because otherwise I will not have money or I can't sustain myself. And so you would couple up with someone and stay with someone for the rest of your life because of the fact that you were dependent on them. I think that's very wrong as well. I think a lot of us, when we look at previous generations of people being together, you have to take into consideration that there is a big independence on each other, especially from a woman towards a man a lot of the times, and that's a big factor that counted into them sticking together, whereas now you don't have that. So you don't need to stay with someone, you don't need to be with someone, and that's probably also why you aren't with someone all the time, because if you don't need to, you're not going to just take any crap, you know, that happens to you. So once again, it's not like an attack on anyone, it's just like a fact, right? Like, you're not allowed to work once you have kids and stuff, like, you know, that's how things used to go, at least here in the Netherlands. So anyway, that was my little ramble. Let me know what you guys think in the description box. I'm very excited to know. Also, I'm working on merch, or I have merch. It's out. It's supposed to be in the down bar, but it's not working. It says it needs a few days to process, but I will put a link down below. I worked really hard on this merch. A bunch of it is actually exclusive Polaroids of lingerie pictures that we took in Prague that I put onto some t-shirts. So if you want a saucy picture of me on a t-shirt or a sweater or whatever, you can find it there. Also, I made some like graphic designs, so it's not all like pictures of me, it's also just designs and stuff. Yeah, I worked my ass off on that, so it's linked down below if you want to check it out. Also, my Instagram is linked down below, my Cameo. I love you guys so much, and I'll see you in my next video.